I mean, this one's repurposed. This one actually does work. My inherited one is like a 1939, but it does not work.
Nice.
This you could write little notes. I put it in my office at school. I just had it here since I wasn't in school, but the kids come in and think it's a novelty and they type a message or maybe start a poem like a la Aaron, a found poem or something or a joint poem.
Sandy, you should let everyone know because because I've seen that background before, like bedtime stories. You should let everybody know, because I love that. Because like what Sandy's done is she's done on Instagram like bedtime stories where she'll read like at 10 o'clock at night or something like that, and she'll read like excerpts from her novel or her memoir that she's writing right now, and it's a lot of fun to just hear her read. So
thanks for being a support for that, Aaron. You're always there and it's great. We have milk and cookies or we have red wine, whatever you want. And it's not exactly at bedtime. You have time after the reading to do something else, but they are a lot of fun. I'm going to do some before summer's over.
Nice.
That my name.
And red wine.
Yeah. I could too.
So Sandy, whenever you're ready, you can go.
Okay.
You have the floor.
Alrighty.
And then.
So I want to watch my time. Okay, 7:07. So I just to give you a little introduction, I've been writing a novel. I have been writing a novel intently all summer in a trance. So I have emerged from this trance, and poetry is obviously my first love. But I think Aaron and I know each other from the past, from our working class literature background, and that was my specialty and his. My book, The Pattern Maker's Daughter, came out in 2012, and it is a lot like that's like kind of signature me, but me a long time ago, because a lot of those poems I was writing kind of all my life, and then they finally came out. I mean, they were revised and all that, but a lot of my poetry normally has so much to do with place. I'm from Western Pennsylvania, from a steel city called Johnstown, 2 hours from Pittsburgh. So I'm, the pattern maker's daughter. I'm a steel town girl, and I write a lot about place and my people up there. And they were very narrative or hybrid narrative lyric poems. But I live in Nashville now, and my voice just dramatically changed because all of my life circumstances changed. And I've been here 8 years. And I did start and I was working, and I have like reams of drafts on a new manuscript that's kind of in my new lyrical voice here. But a lot of those I feel like are just maybe not ready yet or good on the page. And they're very geology and geography based from up there and here. And I just feel like they need a little bit more explaining. And so some of those are coming out soon. And I do hope to share those as I cohere them into something. But tonight, I think what I'm going to do is read what I've been sort of writing in the margins. You know what I mean? Like here and there in the margins. And some are a little older, and I am throwing in one eventually from my book. But a lot of these are like, Aaron, you just came to Nashville, so some are Nashville poems. And I thought you might like that. So anyway, this is in a little bit of like headlines type of things. So the first poem I'm going to read is pretty current. Actually, it's brand new. And it's titled, it has something to do with, well, I'll just read it. Inhaling an almost post-COVID Nashville. A writer friend once said, "We'll always have Paris," as though he was the first to say it. But now I don't even have Ireland, nor any trains to complain about, nor even Irish B&B owners who frown at my bra tops found spilling out my suitcase into their vestibules. I know my bedroom now, and the corners of my house, the smoky fog that creeps into East Nashville's Shelby Bottoms, while candles are lit on 16th Street courtyards and whiskeys are poured in ancient stable bars. Young men in charcoal masks mix drinks and blow into the flames as I inhale the pH old-fashioned and a chaser of PM 2.5. Molten images dissipate with each sip. A man standing against the lumen bushes of Postignano, Italy, a bracelet left in a napkin at the Galleria at Spoleto's town square. Today, we have these United States, and they are on fire as I watch the sun set milky against a pastel sky, rethinking the world over 100 proof, maskless, and determined not to burn. So we had the, oh, thank you so much. We had the smoke from California come through just last week. And actually I started this poem during COVID, but it was just when you could sit outside. I was very good with COVID. I was not maskless, but I would go and sit outside at the places you could last summer. And that's where this started. But then and it was foggy that night too, but we just recently had that air quality come through from California. And I don't know, it all kind of came together then. But I do know my bedroom and the corners of my house quite well since COVID. This poem is called The Art of Crying. And this came out of a trip, writer's retreat to tiny little hamlet in Italy called Postignano, Italy. That's the little epigraph, 2017. And because I have a series of crying poems. In Rome, the Italians make kissing look like high art, but I say crying is art too. The gravel path into the Umbrian hills, a long prayer as I heave breaths against lavender. In dry heat, Mary clutches her heart in a driveway shrine. Her candles stay lit beneath a cobalt wind. Who does she mourn? What saints protect us in the corners of castle rooms where light does not travel? In Solano, the sign tells me to pay attention. A man kneels in a field to poppies and vines. The oils of harvest drip from a basket. Who catches his tears? At the airport, a woman in short red silk runs to kiss a returning lover's tattoo, then grabs for his lips. When I watched, I didn't cry like I did the day the Italian couple invaded the Church Street liquor store in downtown Nashville, their public dance into the display cases of cashmere at the center of the store. I have learned which arts are mine and which green leaves of the trail should not stain my skin. At dinner, I sit across from a man with thick American hair and know I cannot be loved, that it is better to hold the shadowy gaze of a lynx in winter or the portents of 3 full vultures staring from a stone wall. In Thailand, 1 quart of paint covers a house in an afternoon. Villagers brown with boredom connect drops of cerulean blue that spill against want. Sometimes it is enough to kiss the yellow silk of lumen bushes in Postignano, or to know the olives we press our fingers into are picked under the light of the 4th full moon. Who could say it is not a gift to cry when silver is found in subterranean caves only when wet? So we stayed at a little castle there, like literally a little castle that was turned into it's like a tiny little hotel castle. And if you can go there, go. Yeah, I think I have a series of crying poems that's just one, but all right, this one is was written, or it wasn't written the day after the Charlottesville massacre. It was, but I did go to a car wash the next day after the Charlottesville incident. I went to the Magic Sundust car wash, and I was really very struck by very near where you visited here, Aaron. And I was very struck by all of us being there together after that, horrific incident. And I didn't write it right away. I wrote it later, but I think that it could be applicable to a lot of things that have happened in the last few years. It's called The Magic Sundust Car Wash, the day after Charlottesville. At the Magic Sundust Car Wash, it all works orderly. You pull in for cleansing, and the boys who move the brushes across your windshield are kind and have many teeth. Their waving arms guide you to the right grooves, then dunk you in a violent baptism. In the roomy parking lot, you wait for vacuums. First come, first serve. We are every color here and silent in a hollowed wiping of our interiors, or deaf in the whoosh of the attachments that lift the grime of yesterday. The image is still surfacing in our rearview mirrors. The way the ghosts of Charlottesville attempted to be buried. We hear a tire blow out and startle. We watch the pastor who's come in his white collar shake hands with a biker, all of us buffing and shining. I always come full of shame, the gum encrusted in the ashtray, the miles of driving with a cup left to bubble in the noonday heat. My neighbors at the car wash make me cry with their earnest kneeling to car mats, how they bend their backs to place them on the concrete to hose, as genuine as any prayer. As I watch, I think of wanting to be that clean, to forget I was never cast as Mary in the nativity scenes at Beulah United Methodist Church, to forget I had seen the universe and all its empty promises poured out in Tupperware containers of mad dog flesh. At the magic Sundust car wash in Inglewood, I wanted only for the dash of my Mazda to be unglued from my hands that have gripped the wheel with chicken fingers and too much honey mustard. But then I wanted the concentration of the old man with the convertible, patiently gliding his sponges across the wax gleam of his ornamental hood. I wanted to be the lady in curlers, Saturday white painter's pants, and cigarette hanging as she shakes mats in the afternoon sun of the South. All of us acting as though we didn't have a president who tipped us over by pressing our faces to the dirt. We already knew we were all unclean, but after an hour at the Sundust car wash, we are free and gritless and light. We roll back the vacuum hoses carefully in a circular, orderly fashion. And as we drive out, we promise ourselves we will never be dirty again. Thank you so much. Mad Dog. I got a lot of Mad Dog in my first book. That's Seth, right? I got enough Mad Dog. In fact, a couple times I had a reading, I read a couple poems that had Mad Dog. I was like, oh, I gotta axe one of them. So I have too much Mad Dog. It's just always finding its way. And a very serious poem, also from the headlines from a while ago. The Jeffrey Epstein, I don't even know what to call it, but the Jeffrey Epstein horrific acts. I was moved by reading about the girls. The girls, I read long after the headlines had been, I read about the girls were so young that they drank milk in the kitchen at Jeffrey Epstein's house. And I just couldn't get that out of my head. So this is a tiny poem called Drinking Milk with Jeffrey Epstein. In the kitchen at Jeffrey Epstein's house, the girls drank milk in planes, in bedrooms, at parties. So young, their bones were still stretching and growing inside their cut off midriff tops. And that is that. Okay, so this might be the next to last. Okay, so all of you, do you have to answer security questions very often to get into like your bank account or something like that? Okay, if you can. Okay, I'm getting some yeses. So if you can, and sometimes you're challenged by those questions. So I've lost a lot of people in the last few years, as you'll see. And so you might want to reconsider those security questions that you pose for yourself. This is security questions. What is your childhood friend's What is your childhood best friend's name? I haven't seen her in decades. The last time is a vision of her fading into the western Pennsylvania night as she flicked her ashes in some alley, some hiding spot from parents, her Levi's pulled in at the waist. You really should make up with her, all my old friends say, their voices ringing in my ears as I struggle with the password for the site, our parties and car rides, hydroplaning through REO Speedwagon summers, the year 1982 choking me as I just want to access my bank balance. What is your late mother's middle name? The same as mine, Lorene. I should have changed this the day she began appearing in my dreams, radiant with 1990s mom hair. In only one dream since she left us was she old, a grayed, smiling woman I drove on narrow roads to a far-off cabin asking, am I going the right way, Mom? In only one was she angry. She came to me pacing as I laid in the tiny Paris bed 2 days before Dad, her husband of 65 years, would pass suddenly after yard work. I told him what to do. He just wouldn't listen. What is your father's middle name? Gustav, first name William, one half of him old world and reserved as the Black Forest, unable to talk about money like the Italians of our old neighborhood, the cost of shoes, or the puncture marks he makes in closed curtain polling places. The other side, carefree and tossing a football to grandkids in the steel gray of a carbon sky, the pattern shop dust still on his boots, the last video I have of him pumping his legs on a hotel fitness bike backwards for fun. The day he came in from the lawnmower's roar, heart pounding to the cold bathroom with Mom's peach hand towels, I was sleeping in a chair in Chicago O'Hare and missed my flight. The calculation sense of what I was doing when he fell alone, the reunion with Mom, hoping I wasn't sipping the bad Chardonnay at the chain seafood place or arguing with a flight steward about baggage. Who is your twin flame? The woman from the Minnesota Lutheran Finance Company asks me, her accent as though she holds many marbles in her mouth while holding my life savings in a note on her desk. When I thought these questions were for my use only, she coughs nervously like church basement coffee people I see on brochures for annuity and spiritual sacrifices, like Habitat for Humanity, smiling from glossy pages with linked hands. I answer wincing, Troy, thinking that any access to my savings should be painful. Painful as his dry goodbyes, the pierce of his voice like vodka on old voicemails, the flicker of eyes when he walked into the meetup bar, the suburban golf shorts I fell stupidly for by the end of drinks when I'd never dated a man that tall, that blonde, and when walking to the car, how I grabbed instinctually for his shirt in a hug that felt like clutching at the roots of trees. What is the name of your pet? Madagascar, but this is 4 cats ago and he's long expired. Do you really want me to relive his respiratory wheezes, the fading of his tuxedo coat, the weary trips he took to the water bowl each day until the cold steel table? Everyone I chose in my security questions is gone from me, and yet I typed in their names as though it was a good idea, as though they were the only ones I'd ever remember.
That was great.
Thanks. Thanks. And my last one is an oldie, but hopefully goodie from the book, and it's called Steeltown Girls, and I think it's kind of a signature poem. It's been reprinted, and it just got picked up for the Pennsylvania Keystone Anthology of Poetry for their anniversary edition. So it's getting new life, and it's been reprinted a number of times. But most of these are new. I forgot to say, The Art of Crying is in an audio form at Cathexis Northwest. That's out new. But this is going back to the Steeltown, and it's just called Steeltown Girls. Oh no, I think it has Mad Dog in it. Seth. Should have proofed this. Okay, Steeltown Girls for Karen. Each day came down to an hour snuck behind Stofko's alley, kneeling on sagging concrete steps while you rolled strawberry papers and city boys rode bikes in mad dog blush. Other girls held flutes on stadium fields, but we were left to watch the steel sky turn its silver shades, the soap opera time before parents came home from market or work. In brutal cold, we walk straight into stiff wind, hands cupped around your lighter, staring up into stripped winter trees. Sometimes we'd pass the hockey player with brown eyes and a stick, a decent Catholic boy I'd lost to our madness. As a mother now, I marvel at how we roamed those cracking sidewalks, not much older than my son, trading baseball cards in his room. I never told you that sometimes in the seconds before that first drag, I felt like running home to stop the buzzing of the timer on the kitchen stove, to wrap myself in the scent of mother's dough rising there, her dishcloth folded perfectly over the porcelain sink. Instead, we stepped over hopscotch diagrams and planned out lives with chalk left on the alley floor. When I go back, Karen, I see those steps and worn out convenience stores. I see toddlers who could be yours spinning on playground swings. New girls in skirts too short for the chill cross corners of Messenger and Horner. I see their eyes, slits of rainbow glass, a sheen too bright to look into. And I want to thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Sandee. Thank you. That was excellent.
You're so welcome. Who's
Really
got
like those
the
last
hot dog now? I gotta go get my red wine.
MD, get some Thunderbird. Oh, they're all out. It's Manischewitz time. All right. Kosher for Passover.
I don't think I've seen it since 1982. What does it look like? Is it like
which one? Oh, goodness.
That was so much fun. Thanks for being such a great audience and so attentive. I can't wait to hear your work.
Now I have to ask, because you were from Pittsburgh, but you've been in Nashville now. Was the y'all something you picked up? Were you ever a yins guys person? I'm just curious. I have Pittsburgh friends.
Yeah, and Johnstown is even a more exaggerated version of Pittsburghese. We said yins.
Oh, man.
My one brother who never left, sometimes I have trouble understanding him because God love him. I love everybody back there, but like I have to get my ear out to like, what did you say? Yeah, we say yins and I had to learn y'all.
We were forged in the y'all, weren't we, Caleb? Raised in it. No. But no, you pulled it off. Well, you said it like a native y'all person. Y'allman.
Yeah.
Yeoman.
You got to get a little drawl in there. You got to say y'all.
I know. I got to.
You do. No, otherwise, it's you all. It's Midwestern. Which is different. So I have Alex. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna jump to the list. I have Alex sponsored by Anti-Troll Cream next.
You guys got sponsorships.
Yeah. We just made them up. That's a thing. Abigail, Stephen, if y'all want to read, let us.
Come back to us, Seth.
Seth's gone.
No one can hear me. Right?
You're back, Seth. You're
okay,
back.
Yeah. I don't know how long I was gone.
I was just about to tell Alex to read, but
just read, Alex. I'll just stop.
Good to see y'all again. Yeah, Seth and Caleb, great seeing y'all. Aaron, always great. And Sandee, congrats on that really, really good reading. Nice hearing you. I just got 2 for y'all, but I'll put the timer just in case. So, this one's 10-part rumination or translucent wells. Part 1. When Steve Carell questions Paul Dano in Little Miss